Welcome aspirants. In this today's video, we will be discussing about the UPSC notification, the recent changes, and everything that UPSC has brought forth for its aspirants. And we will try and see what are the major changes that UPSC notification has given out for the students this year. So, without any further ado, let's begin. So, we have various aspects, various headers on which we will be discussing. The first is with respect to the application itself, the verification, and the service rules. Because see, UPSC has introduced some of the major structural and procedural reforms. However, we have to keep in mind that there is no much changes whatsoever with respect to the syllabus of the UPSC. And also, speaking of the structure, I will right away give you the verdict that no changes has also been done whatsoever with respect to the optional paper as well. Of course, optional paper still stays in the UPSC syllabus. However, the main aim of the UPSC notification 2026, at least after the delay, was to bring more transparency, security, and most importantly, to ensure the applications had zero errors, right? Even for the processing or even for the registration and even for further documentation whatsoever. Right. So first is the four-stage online application system. Which the UPSC has brought in some of the changes. However, we can see that how they have completely redesigned the application process, starting from the application, the account creation of your own URN, that is your universal registration number. And mind you, for all students who have already created the URN, I think it is still better that, and also it is still mandatory that you have to do it all over again. And also it has talked about or brought in another thing, a common application form, and then some of the specific exam specific changes that has brought in. And also we can talk about a few reductions in the reputations. One of the most important changes, forget about all the structural changes that UPSC has brought, but I will tell you one of the most important changes that this year's notification has brought in is the reduction in the repetitions for the repeaters, especially people or aspirants who have already cleared the exam, gotten the ranks, and who are placed in or who have gotten into Group A services, right? Earlier, there was a particular criteria. People could have written multiple times as long as they had their attempts. But right now, UPSC has put down certain restrictions. One of the most important and one of the most transforming change that UPSC has brought, and mind you, is going to be very helpful for the beginners as well, right? Well, we'll see what that is, starting with the URN, right? The universal registration number, which is the one-time registration for life and which is applicable for almost all the UPSC examinations that UPSC conducts. And this is generated after the first registration of the aspirant, and it creates a permanent and a mandatory URN account for the aspirant, which will be applicable for all the future UPSC examinations. And this is where it stores all the personal details, address, ID proof of the aspirant. And also, once this URN is generated, the aspirant need not register it every year. Of course, for those aspirants who have applied from last 2-3 years, you might have constantly revisited the website once again, registered the URN back to back times. But now I hope UPSC is trying to bring that stability, and I hope UPSC will stick to it, because the kind of changes that UPSC has brought, probably UPSC might, or probably UPSC will stay with it, and no further changes can be expected, at least for the next few years. So yeah, the aspirants, once they register for this URN, they need not register again. But however, one of the most important thing to keep in mind, that the accuracy when filling these forms should be maintained, must be maintained, must is the word, because any discrepancies whatsoever with respect to the aspirant's information, it is going to cost you very, very badly in this examination, right? So hence, proper care should be administered, especially when you are filling the form. Next is the common application form, CAF, where even this is also filled only once, and this also applies to all the UPSC examinations, and it includes the the education details of the aspirant, the category he or she belongs to, be it SC, ST, OBC, EWS, and PWBD. And also it talks about the address and the identity proof of the student, And this is to essentially save the time of an aspirant, that every other time whenever he is applying for any UPSC examinations, that he need not keep on filling the same details, just to minimize the time. And this saves time, but no repeated correction scheme. That is also very important. However, this saves time. And also UPSC here, you have to keep in mind, the common application form, it is not asking that information which time and again changes, right? It is asking about your education details, which already is readily available. Your 12th marks card, be it 10th marks card, your graduation certificate, and all of those things won't change, right? And also doesn't mean that you essentially have to rewrite it, or keep on applying, or feeding it to the UPSC platform every now and then, right? So it doesn't make any sense. So hence, no repeated correction scheme is also given. So once whatever you apply, or once whatever you register, make sure you do it thoroughly and properly. And this, over the period of time, saves time, and also is one of the biggest changes that you can see. Next is the mandatory live photo capture. This is the very important and one of the most striking thing that UPSC has brought. We cannot call it unexpected, because there were instances when, in fact, the previous examination, when the EPOF examination were conducted, so the biometrics were taken and even the photo capture were done, a few centers, and that's what I've heard. Now introducing this for an exam like UPSC is definitely very important, and it is very drastic, if you have to see, because this is a very big change in terms of how identity verification used to happen over the period of time. Because right now you have to upload a passport size photo, and with that, even at the time when you are filling the application, you have to give a live photograph, right? A live photo capture must happen during the application, and this is to ensure that the person who is filling the person who's filling the application is also the same person who is attending the examination on the prelims day or the mains day or whatever, right? So make sure, aspirants, if you are fancying a mustache, please keep that mustache even on the day of prelims. Let everything be the same thing. So just, if you're fancying a beard in the application form, and then you go to the prelims hall without the beard, or probably completely shaved, UPSC, don't be shocked when UPSC or the members there, do not allow you to write the prelims examination, right? So very important. Make sure what look you want to see yourself when you write the prelims exam or when you're giving the mains examination, and try to maintain it. Okay, very important. So both photos must match the current appearances. Blurred mismatched photos, application gets rejected. Keep in mind. And new change has been brought forth in terms of the signature uploading as well. So right now, you have to sign 3 times on a white paper, especially in black ink only, and scan and upload as per the format with which the UPSC platform is mandating you to. Still, despite the word only is mentioned, despite aspirants preparing for the civil services, writing UPSC mocks, and knowing the importance of what the word only is, still do the same mistake. They sign it in blue ink, some of them even more extraordinary people in red ink, right? So specifically in black ink only, sign it 3 times, and whatever paper have you signed, you have to scan it and upload it in the desired format the UPSC wants. So now, what is the purpose of this? Once again, the uniformity, prevent any impersonation, because no other random person who can do your signature can go write the examination, right? All of those things, and better document verification whatsoever. Next is the Aadhaar based verification. And here we can see that UPSC has right now recommended Aadhaar as primary ID, right? Very important. This is to help the aspirant to make sure that the document verification process is more easy and also faster and smoother going forward. And however, doesn't mean that other IDs are not allowed. You can still use your voter ID, PAN, passport, and driving license. But Aadhaar is still made recommendatory, and also I hope every Indian will definitely have their Aadhaar. So it is better you use your Aadhaar card itself, which help you minimize further delays going forward. Next is with respect to the no correction and the withdrawal. This is very important, and also most critical, because after the final submission, you people, especially aspirants, you cannot correct anything. There is no room for correction. There is no withdrawal of the application, and also no editing. So hence, recheck every detail before clicking that submit button, or please wait for at least 1 week Wait until all the fancy or all the over enthusiastic aspirants make mistakes, learn from the mistakes and know what you're doing, and only then you apply, right? There's no hurry burry. There's, not like, you're going to miss the entire UPSC train just because if you wait for another 1 week or two. Please wait, but also make sure don't keep it till the last end. Just wait for another few more days, probably just a week more, and then you can, sit, take your time out and then prepare yourself. Of course, you have to, once again, now the application has been made in a manner that even applying for the UPSC prelims is very analytical. You have to, mentally be prepared. You have to prepare all your documents and everything. So prepare properly and then only you upload, right? Next is with respect to the mandatory face authentication at the examination center, which I've already said. Once again, face authentication will also happen in the examination center, pretty much like how it happens during the check-in, in the airports and all of those things. And this is also one thing which you have to keep in mind. Next is the online admit card. So no admit card by post or email download from UPSC website. This is also very important. So admit cards will not be sent by post or email. It will be officially put out on the UPSC website. So you have to download it from there. And in the examination hall or on the day of the examination hall, you have to carry the printed admit card and also valid photo ID. Very basic, very necessary, and also very generic, very repetitive also. It was something that, all of us have done over the period of time. And next important thing we have witnessed with this 2026 notification is the service eligibility and the restrictions. Well, of course, unlike the last few years, there's no changes with respect to what IAS and IFS officers has to do with their attempts, because people who have already gotten into IAS and IFS, of course, they cannot appear again, which was also there the last year, previous year as well. But now, a lot of changes have happened with respect to those aspirants who have been selected to any other services apart from IAS and IPS, and most specifically the IPS and the category, or let's say the Group A central services like your IRS, Indian Information Services, Customs, and all of those things, right? So those selected aspirants for IPS, as IPS candidates, cannot opt for IPS again. Means the person who has already opted for IPS, or let's say who has gotten IPS in, let's say, 2025 attempt or 26 attempt, and wants to appear for the next year exam, of course, now he gets only one option, only one attempt. And that attempt, he can decide that he can either take permission from his academy where the training is happening, and then prepare and then give the examination. And now again, if he gets IPS on that same attempt, it is most likely that he will not get that, and or he can pretty much retain as well. But however, one of the most important thing you have to keep in mind that these repeaters, especially people who had gotten into Group A services and also your IPS and everything, exceptional, except the Danex, except all those services, for Andaman Nicobar, Delhi, and all of those things, except Danex, the aspirants who used to get placed in Group A services, IPS, and all of those things, now they only get one valid attempt after they've been qualified. So either they can give that attempt in the next year, and after that they can never give the attempt being in the service. And even if they want to give further attempts beyond that, if they have any attempts left, they must resign from the already existing service which they are in, and only then they can give the following attempts, right? One of the important changes, one of the groundbreaking changes. Of course, we'll make a separate video on this as to how benefiting this would be for beginners. We will definitely make a video because this topic deserves a video on itself. We will definitely make it, right? So that is up to the service eligibility and restrictions. So it has given clear rules on the training exemptions, the service cancellation, and seniority protection, and also I can even say how it is protecting the first timers as well, the beginners as well, right? That is also important. And it has also brought some changes with respect to the post-result mandatory logins. Now, new compliance rules have been made that after the prelims result, within 10 days, login mandatorily must happen. And then your mains result also within the next 15 days after the mains results are out, you have to log in and apply yourself for the next successive stage. And failure without doing that it is considered as disqualification. That is also there. Next is with respect to category certificate rules tightened, where you can see that OBC NCL, the income the income of financial year 2022, 23, 22, 24, 24, 25, and this it is basically the timeline where it has mentioned. So certificate issued after 1, or let's say 1st of April 2025 is only applicable. So people who are belong to OBC NCL, please keep in mind, and people who are from the EWS category, so you have to keep in mind that should be based on financial year 2024-25, issued only after April 1st of 2025. So these dates very important. If you have old certificates, please get it renewed, right? April 1st 2025 is the date, and the certificates should be issued only after that. Just keep in mind. Next, at the end, what are the key takeaways? Of course, these are some of the important changes that we have spoken about. So we are pretty much ending the video. So we'll just talk about a few important takeaways to keep in mind. First is the URN, one-time registration, and also one-time mistake in this registration can cost an attempt. Keep in mind. Next is no correction window. So don't be too over smart, don't be too lazy, don't be too ignorant especially. Be very careful while filling the form, and if any mistake happens, application gets cancelled. Next is the identity verification has been more stricter. They have tightened it. They have brought in more changes. Keep in mind, service rules clear but stricter. So we will make a separate video on that. Definitely stay tuned. And then application phase, now as important as preparation, means even applying for the examination has also been made more analytical. It's also not that simple. You cannot just simply do it in the last minute. Don't wait till that last day, right? So that's all for this particular video. I hope the video was informative. I hope all my fellow aspirants will not make any silly mistakes in applying the form. Please don't do it. It's the very first step in your preparation. So anyway, that's all for this particular video. I wish you a very good luck and all the best for your 2026 attempt. Prepare well. The time is very less. Of course, the time is still there, right? Anyway, that's all for this particular video. Signing off. This is Madan Gopal. Have a beautiful day.